Empathy and change. What's the link? So far, we know that empathy helps people to be more engaged, more flexible or agile at work, and more innovative. But what's the link between empathy and change in organizations? What we know about organizational change is that successful facilitation and support of organizational change is all about involving the right people on the right level at the right time. And empathy helps us to listen, actively listen, understand other people's perspective, and get curious about what has been said and what hasn't been said. And in facilitating organizational change, that's what it's important. Talking to people, understanding their perspective and how it might be relevant for the change process, and what's the thing that is not said. So on that level, empathy in organizational change matters and can be an important skill to support successful change in your organization. How to involve people in rethinking this change and supporting this change might be, for example, motivational interviews. A study showed that motivational interviews that are all about understanding the motivation and letting people who were interviewed choose work twice as often as when people try to persuade them. That's a study that was actually conducted about the COVID-19 vaccination, trying to have people get the vaccination. And they realized that motivational interviews, so taking the time to understand what motivates them to not get vaccinated, and then trust them to make the right decision, work twice as often as just giving them all the facts and or the arguments why it might work. So here's the link to organizational change. When you take the time to understand your folks and employees' motivation, and not only in organizational change, but generally in projects and in leadership, and you give them the choice, the freedom to choose themselves and decide themselves, you'll invite them to take ownership, which will be more successful than just telling them. That's, by the way, one of the core principles of coaching as well. I support my clients to create awareness, and then take decision and actions based on that by themselves. That's what science came in and realized and showed how successful coaching is. That's what it's all about. It's about taking ownership, making your own choices, and then following through because you're motivated by that. And so empathy helps you to understand whom to involve in organizational change, and might also help to support people who are resisting change by understanding their motives, by actively listening them, and get curious about especially the things that they haven't said. So if you have a change process in your organization, and almost everyone has in moving situations like this and times where change is the only constant, I invite you to take a look. Where are you demonstrating empathy in this process, and where do you stop?